Colossus are on.
Boom! I believe you can all hear me. Maybe not the players. You can probably hear the players now, so be careful what you say. Oh, thank you for all the hosts and follows we've had in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you for the hosting. So welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. This is a lovely channel that me and a few friends run some stuff on, mainly tabletop. Tuesday is our DnD5e edition night, and we have the lovely players as you can see before them. So I'm going to go through some of the not as exciting dice rolling stuff first. On the bottom of the stream you'll be able to see Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram and Patreon, all going to the Heavyweight Gaming empire that is building. I have a new sponsor today. If you can see Sawdust and Swearwords on the bottom. He is an incredible, him and his partner do lots and lots and lots and lots of wood turning, and they make dice cups, wooden tankards, wooden bowls. They use, they make trees out of wood. Oh no, probably lost that sponsor. They make candle holders and all sorts. So if you just look up Sawdust and Swearwords, then yes, go check them out.
It's a brilliant name. I
It
love
is,
that name.
and if you ever meet Dave, you might as well have it tattooed on his forehead. So our other sponsor, who's been with us since the beginning, last week, is Ruffworx Creative, who is another good friend of mine over in Ireland, who again does a lot of woodwork and leatherwork and such. He is just-ish getting into cosplay and such, so you can go over to Ruffworx Creative and see he did Jorma, or whatever he's called, from Game of Thrones, and came second in his first cosplay little competition, so that was cool. But yeah, he made all that himself from scratch. He doesn't let machines do any of his work. It's all blood, sweat, tears, etc., as I suppose most cosplayers are very used to. He does lots and lots of things, like he's doing dice trays at the minute. He kind of does passion projects, so you'll never see the same thing twice. His dice trays are very, very... I have background music. Yes, there we go. Just talking to the staff. But yes. So, what was I saying? If I was rudely interrupted. I've got a baby. Ruffworx, yeah, go check Ruffworx Creative out. His dice trays are absolutely immaculate. I've got one on my way, one on its way to me. Yeah, I totally should probably get a script for this. So yes. Yes. You can see all our stuff on YouTube that we do. You can just jump on the Twitch videos and see them. You can find us all over social media. Just keep an eye out. If you're into D&D and you like what you see, stick around, follow, notify, all that palaver. If you do happen to subscribe, thank you very much, and we pump it straight back into the stream. So thank you very much. It's a little special announcement from me today. I announced that we hit 10 Patreons today, so that was double figures. And as I was finishing my post to say we'd hit 10 patrons, we hit 11. So thank you very much for the Patreons. Yes, this time next year. This time next year, Rodney. So we're going to go into the game. 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's your playback.
It's you.
It's your playback, sir. We can tell by your voice. You
Do
don't
not mute your stream.
It is muted. How could I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Right, there's just... Right.
Professional.
Oh yeah, it is me. I just don't know how. So
is it on your OBS? Are you muted all the time, so you need to mute on there?
yes. Is it coming through nicely on the stream? That's all that matters. So you guys said it was fine earlier, and I haven't changed anything. So I'm just going to accept that I like the sound of my own voice that much. It's coming through twice. If that does become an issue, let me know, people that are watching. Right, we're going to jump into the game. We can hear you. I just hear your stream twice.
You can hear it. I'm just shouting.
Have you got it not muted on OBS?
No, I'm fine. We're all professionals here, I swear. Nothing is different from last week.
On OBS.
Do we all need to ask this separately?
I know.
So, I've muted you guys. If not muted on OBS, do you have a second window open? That's what happens to me. Second window. I do, but it's muted. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. This is ridiculous. Fine for you. Okay. I'm going to crack on. Because I don't know what's going on.
It's there, but it's background, it'll be fine.
It's not hugely noticeable, to be honest. Cool. Right, so into the game. Last week, in fact, we'll go around you lot first. Dalethin, introduce yourself. Or AJ, introduce yourself. Dalethin, AJ. You're muted, AJ.
You're muted.
Have you tried unmuting?
Unfortunately, Zoom works very weirdly. Hi, I'm AJ, also Game Weaver. I'm going to be playing the Mad Wizard Dalethin this one.
Beautiful. Kate?
I'm Kate.
Moving on.
Also known as Kate. And, I'm going to be playing the Kenku Paladin Griff.
Lovely. Luke?
I am Luke, and I will be playing the Fey Fighter Caspian.
I know what it is. I found out what it is.
It's your phone.
It's...
Your lass is laughing, so it must be dumb.
I've turned them up, Lissy. Thank you very much. And it turns out it's my phone, not muted. So, whilst I was trying to check the stream, it was feeding back. So, yeah, that's now muted. So, we shouldn't get that anymore. So, welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. Soon to be rebranded as Not So Heavyweight Gaming. So, Luke, sorry, did we get your introduction? I do apologise.
Yeah, I am Luke, still Luke, and I play the Fey Fighter Caspian.
Lovely. Jade.
I am Jade, and I will be playing Xandria, the Fey Warlock.
Lovely. And Mel.
I'm Mel. I will be playing Ari, the Swashbuckler Rogue. Human.
Wonderful. So as you can see, I've applied their little classes and names to the overlay because I'm super professional. I was tempted to use Sirenscape tonight as we've been testing with it today, but I'm not overly convinced I'll be able to pull it off by adding ambience to the place, but we'll soon find out. So...
I have faith in you.
Jesus. Right. So recap from last week. You have all come from your various places around the world of Colossus. FYI, people watching, this is set in the homebrew world of Colossus. You all came from your previous places all over the world. You ended up on a boat, a massive three-mast boat called the Orcan Whale that is crewed by a bunch of druidic dwarves. Captain Boulderback is the one in charge of these druidic dwarves, and taking you all to a place in Ravenholm called Ebendorf, which is the largest city in the province run by the nobles that are in charge of the House of Tor, T-A-U-R. Now one of you has been noisy. I'm blaming Luke. I'm blaming Luke.
It is. My computer is fighting me.
So,
There we go.
on your way to Ebendorf, you stopped off at a little fishing hamlet called Skibberek. And at Skibberek, there is nothing but fisherfolk and a busy sailors' tavern known as the Hanging Hawk. While you were all there, just chilling out, you had a few days left of your sail up the coast. It was attacked. There was several of these 7 to 8 to 9 feet tall purple worms that came bursting out of the ground and attacked everyone. There was a gargantuan purple worm that burst out of the centre of town and started eating everyone. You all did very well at not dying. Very well. Lots of people got eaten. Lots of people got hurt. You were kind of forced into fighting either alongside people you didn't know or alongside people you did know. There was moments of running away, jumping and riding the top of the gargantuan creature. There was shadow katanas being thrown around. There was eldritch blasts. There was a moment where the warlock shouted the enemy to death, which was pretty impressive. Once the attack had been dealt with and the wreckage of the small fishing village of Skibberek You rounded up around, say, 18 to 20 of the locals that were left, adults and young'uns, with a handful of the crew of the Oakham Whale. Captain Boulderback did indeed survive and kind of arranged or organised the rabble that was left. Griff and Ari did a decent job of calming everyone down with the old bringing tables out of the ruined tavern, standing on them, doing a bit of charades and a great speech. It was wonderful to behold. And you've all agreed that you will now go on land to Ebendorf, which will be 2 nights out on the road, because there's not enough what Boulderback would consider professional sailors that would be able to help get the Oakham Whale to Ebendorf safely. So you're going to go overland, and then hopefully Boulderback can return to his ship with sailors. So we left it. Oh, I will point out that Griff's friend Hammerstone died.
So sad.
Goddamn dwarfs.
Press F.
So as you are leaving,
Chat.
as you are leaving Skibberek, I'm going to ask the lovely audience to tell me if they can hear music coming through. If they
Can
can't,
you hear the beautiful ambience that we cannot, because we tried it earlier?
if they can't, not yet. Well, we'll see. It's going to be definitely touch and go on the old 7 skip. Right, you start heading out of town. It is, as ever in Ravenholm, there is a permanent feeling of, it's just a forever presence of a wet autumn day. It's just, that is how the climate is in Ravenholm. In this province, especially by the sea, it seems the air is wetter, the cold and damp clings to you more, and as you leave Skibberek after your afternoon drinking in the tavern before the fight, you are all kind of just cuts and bruises and heading out for the day. You've been told that you will spend at least 2 nights out on the road and arrive to Ebendorf on the 3rd day around noon-ish, depending on how quickly you move, etc. You do have the survivors of the village with you, and a few of the dwarves from the ship and yourselves. The immediate trudge, it's muddy floors, it's as though it's not used very often, this track north towards Ebendorf. You're not surprised. Skibberek seems so isolated that the only time that tavern, the Hanging Hawk, is busy is when people stop off the coast. It's very rarely visited by land. During your time in the tavern, before it was squished, you did hear of merchants from the south maybe coming up and dropping in to buy fish and such, but they didn't really go north to Ebendorf, so the path towards Ebendorf is very rarely used. So going through it, you can see that it's overgrown, it's thick forest, it kind of darkens the day even more with the trees being so thick. The clouds are low and forever grey, and you are heading on your merry way. As you approach into the afternoon, or late afternoon, so you're pushing probably your evening time before you would consider pulling up for food and such, there is a wind that picks up, and you can feel, if there was no wind you'd be able to see the rainfall, but the wind is quite brisk and you can feel the moisture and rain hitting you, not like storm levels, but it does feel as though one is brewing. So you are trudging along. You arrive at the evening or evening time to set up camp of the first day, and you go about your ways. You set up your camps. The dwarves help with their druidic magic. The fisher folk are still in a little bit of shell shock. Most of the kids, bar a couple, so of the 20, there are 7 children, and out of those 7 children, only 2 of them still seem clung to their parents as shell shocked. The other 5 have kind of gotten over it in that nothing really sticks in a kid's mind sort of way until later on. But yes, now they'll all come rushing back, and then the adults are doing their best to maintain a bit of calm amongst their little families. You can obviously see and notice for what they've lost. To yourselves, it's just a village with fisher folk. Obviously, you'll have your own feelings about that, but to them, they've lost absolutely everything. Sitting around the camps and the fires, whether you're sat together or apart from fisher folk, dwarves, each other, you will hear talks of the dwarves looking for sailors and working folk in Ebendorf to come back south, either sail down the coast straight to the boat or come back the way you guys are going. Talk of they don't know what to do with the villagers. The fisher folk themselves talking about what are they going to do when they get to Ebendorf. Ebendorf is a city compared to their 200 population hamlet. It's a little bit daunting to them. The younger folk are well up for the adventure of a city. The older folk are too stuck in their ways of just fishing out their lives and then passing their fishing rod on to their grandkids. So there's a very mixed feeling going on. It's the camp of the first night. I will leave it over to yourselves to decide whether you are talking with one another, if you are sat apart, what you're doing, etc. So what I'll do is I'll go around you all first to see if you've got any plans, and then if you have, we'll go from there. So Daelfin, you got anything you want to do, etc. before you go to sleep?
Majority of my time is going to be spent probably away from most people. Not to be the loner on the road and all that, but I'm kind of used to it by this point in time. I will ask, how are people feeding themselves? Is there like a team going out and getting additional food, anything like that? Because while I have no survival skills, I do tend to hit things really well and can probably bag a deer if someone points out where there is one.
So regarding food, they obviously packed up what they could from the village. A few of them, being fisher folk, they had, there was still bits and bobs of fresh fish they could bring, and then some other dried foods. The dwarves, all of them that you've seen so far, are in touch with their druidic nature in some level and are able to feed off the land, as it were, and help out where they can, and then whatever yourselves have in your packs.
Alright, so no one's particularly like rushing or worrying for food.
Not right now.
Okay, then for the moment I'll probably just set myself up at the base of a tree as far away as possible, but still within eyesight, so when that bear shows up and tries to eat me, I can scream loud enough.
He's read the plot doc.
Other than that, can't comment. No, basically just going to stay out of everyone's way for the moment.
Cool. Over to Griff.
First priorities for Griff would be along similar lines, in the sense of making sure people have food, that they're comfortable, that no one needs help with anything in any way at all, and if not, if it's just a case of people are settling down and everything's all right, if that is the case.
So, of the party, there is, when people have settled and kind of got over the shell shock of the village, and they have kind of ignored they blinkered the day's trek. Now they're sat down to take bread and etc. Looking around, Daelfin is looked at in a, we've seen folk like you around. Kesfion and Zandria, there has been elements of those from the south in Ravenholm, so they've seen the ships that are very different shape to the dwarves and such, so there's not an overly surprised look. Ari blends right in, but you're a little 4-foot raven running around in armour. So they are. There is some now. People have settled and realised that it wasn't some sort of pelt that a paladinic warrior was wearing, and that it actually is you. There is some curiosity going round. There's no real, no one's looking at you disdainfully or anything like that. The younger ones are quite. Their imaginations are going mad. They can see in front of them a 4-foot bird person that is essentially, a knight in shining armour to them, and slayed a gargantuan monster. So tales have been written already in the minds of the young'uns. The adults don't really. I mean, they're looking at dwarves and elves and people coming to and fro. So the fact that they've never seen you isn't going, what's this evil creature. They've just never seen a Kenku before.
He probably spends some time with the kids then, more to keep their minds kind of in that kind of playful place. Might even, if he's allowed, he might even go even towards some of the more frightened kids and try and cheer them up somehow. But if that's kind of a no, this is my kid, don't come nearby, he'll happily play with the other kids and just kind of keep their minds away from what's just happened and keep it more on
that's kind of where Arya was going to go as well. So they could probably work together on it, like, and just be like,
Okay.
you know, keep the kids entertained.
So Ari, you're going to accompany Griff and essentially do the people pleasing and the, you know, face to face and that sort of shenanigans.
He's a bit rubbish at like survival skills and things, so it's just like, I'll just keep the kids entertained, it'll be fine.
I'll juggle. So the two that I really wanted to get to, Kesfion and Death Shouter, aka Zandria. What are you two doing in this environment?
I imagine that the siblings are probably doing a perimeter check because, by the looks of it, nobody is casting eyes out and doing proper checks of the area. So, using that skill that they have from their time with their village and their you know, sort of hunting scouting packs that they go off in, that's probably what they'll be doing, is doing perimeter checks, looking around and generally just keeping an eye on things. I don't imagine they're relaxing.
Cool. So Delphin, while you're out and about and keeping yourself Kushti Bari, can you give me a perception check? Zandria and Kesfion, can one of you or both of you, it's up to you, one of you at advantage or one of you each, do perception checks?
Oof.
I believe we're equally crap at that.
I don't know.
I'm just gonna take a picture.
Oh, if you got +4, go for it.
Mate, if you've rolled an at 20,
He
I
just rolled
swear.
an at 20.
One way to start the session.
I swear to the gravy
I'm
gods.
just gonna send this to
Right. So, just for those tuning in, last week the party rolled a combined 306 nat 20s in 4 dice rolls.
Yeah, that's
It was
a 20.
Absolutely
That's a
ridiculous.
20.
So,
Jesus fucking Christ.
you. The good thing is, because
Wizard
of your
everywhere.
because of your super perception, you see the arrow hit you in the eye.
Seems legit.
Cool. And Kesfion, Zandria, how did you go about the roll?
22.
22. Did you roll at advantage or did Kes you roll as well?
I rolled at advantage.
Cool. So between you three, Delphin, you notice that there is no birds in these trees or above you. There is other wildlife on the ground level, but there's nothing flying out, squawking, chirping, or anything. So the above you is empty. Yep. Zandria, you get a very similar looking out. You and Kesfion, you kind of look around and you kind of notice as well, especially when you see Delphin looking up a lot, that there is no existence of anything above you, it appears. No sounds, no flaps, no sightings of anything in the treetops and above. And so yeah, so Ari and Griff, you go around and you approach the families. I'm assuming you're ignoring the dwarves in the sense that they seem tough, hardy, sailor type. You don't have to, I'm just making assumptions.
There would have been definitely a checking in with them, like a kind of a, do you need my help? You guys okay? You managing? This is a shitty time. Kind of all through mime, of course. That kind of thing will have at least happened. Like at least like a thumbs up. Like, are we okay? I'm gonna go check on the people who can't look after themselves.
So, Bottle Belly, when you approach her, is very thankful and is essentially cooking for everyone, being the ship's chef. And as she approaches, Griff, can I speak to you for a moment?
Not.
And sort of dips in and holds this broth, this real thick broth. Where they've managed to thicken this broth up, you don't know, but it looks real thick, tasty. You just assume it's some sort of weird dwarven druid magic. And she holds it out to you to taste. How are you going to bake that? Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I can taste.
Just throw it in your face.
No, Griff will taste it. Kind of
No,
like.
it's actually really nice. Like, almost makes you feel pleasant as you eat it. I just wanted to say thank you for back there. I know we lost Hammerstone, but he always spoke highly of you, and yeah. So I just want to say thank you.
He'll do like a little head bow kind of thing, and we'll probably say thank you back in Ari's voice, because that's one he's heard recently.
Yes, he has. Oh my god.
Someone's been doing their own work.
And pat on the back as well. Generally, like a kind of, we'll do this and then a thumbs up as if to be like, "Are you okay? Are you feeling better?"
She sort of like wipes her eyes a little bit, sniffs. Yeah, I'm fine. And she just turned to okay. She leans in for a hug, but you don't feel all the hug come back. And yeah, she goes back about cooking. As you go over to the villagers, and they are tending their children and themselves, etc. The two children that were scared are both young boys, and they can't be. They've only got a few years on them. They're able to walk around. They have words, as you can hear as you're walking around and stuff, but they're not old enough to hold conversation or call their dad fat. Not that I've got any experience in that. So you approach, and they pull in to their parents. Both are held by one by a mother, one by a very old woman that you can assume is a grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And they see you. Do you both go over as a team, or you going over first, Griff? So you kind of just wander over together. So Ari and Griff are there. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if we've done it in a particular way. Griff will have gone over. If Ari's going over at the same time, Griff will have gone up to Ari, noticing that they were the person before who was quite positive and been like, "Oh, cool. Yes."
I feel like Ari would kind of like be like, "Yeah, you kind of saved my life. You got a pass. It's all good." Don't really know you very well, but you seem like a good sort. You know, it's fine.
Cool.
And kind of be pretty chatty with people, because he generally is quite chatty, and he just kind of be like, you know, just checking in, making sure everything's okay. Like, I know it's been a bit of a weird day. It's not what we'd all like to be doing right now, but
there is a lot of agreement with you. So, of the two children, the one they both got real dark hair, but one just pips the other on how dark their hair goes. It's almost black, and his eyes are a bit more curious as they're looking between you and Ari. The way Ari's dressed, for starters, stands out way more than druidic dwarves in kelp and bits of leather and fisher folk. So, and he sort of steps away from the grandmother, and he walks, and she's kind of got her arm out, but she don't want to grip him tight, but lets the child go. And he steps forward, and he looks at Harry first. Are you a prince?
No, I'm not a prince, but I was once a pirate. Do you want to hear about that story?
You're a pirate.
Yeah.
Is that one your parrot?
No, this is Griff. Griff's nice.
Hi, Griff.
Little wave.
My name's Guillaume.
Hi, Guillaume.
So you're going to tell me a story about pirates?
Yeah. Do you want to come and listen?
And he looks back at his grandmother, and she sort of recognises your accent as one of, or as close to their own as the others. And a little bit taken aback by Griff's accent being the same as yours. But yeah, the grandmother lets the child go. The other one does not shift. But Guillaume is well up for listening to pirate stories. So, throughout the night, Griff, unless you want to do anything other than aid Ari in entertaining the folk to keep them calm?
That'd probably be about, main priority. Might have tried to cheer up the other kid, unless they're just seeming really tired.
They They will allow you to come close, and you get the odd smile, but they will not let go of Mother.
No, that's fine. He's gonna pull out a deck of cards and flick through it. Just a normal deck of cards.
What?
Nobody get any panic. He's gonna flick through it and find the Jack of Hearts
Okay.
and give it to the little kid. Just like a little, this is for you.
Oh.
Just something to have kind of thing. He's not actually said that because, you know, but it's kind of a nudge, 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 head tilt, nudge.
Cool. So
Gives.
the little boy reaches out, takes the card like slowly, and then pulls it in tight. And you can see that they're kind of looking at it, looking at you, but they cannot get any closer to their mother.
No, that's fine. The Griff would probably smile at the mother in the way that Kenku smile. It's an eye smile. And then leave them be, because, you know...
Big eyes.
Big eyes, big sparkly eyes. And then go back to wherever Ari is and kind of just chill.
So, during the evening, you guys are doing your patrol, you are entertaining, you're passing the cards out, and you're doing your general niceties and due diligence. It is now time for the evening to take fully hold. The wind has slowed a bit, and now you can feel the rain coming down. It's not heavy, but it is raining. You can hear the pitter-patter on the leaves above you. Still, you three, ever vigilant, hear no sign of life above head height, essentially. It's not cut off, there's just, you can't hear birds.
Yeah.
I'm going to start packing my stuff up as if I was getting ready to leave.
In the middle of the night. Cool.
Panicked.
Okay, you start packing your stuff up.
Could I do a nature check to see if they've ever encountered a similar kind of situation where there seems to be stuff along the ground, small mammals but no birds?
Yeah.
No burb.
Give me, what's higher, your nature or survival?
Survival, because it's not intelligence.
give me a survival check.
Okay, cookie. That is that is a 16.
Cool. So very similar to out on the sands with you and Zandria, or when you've been training to do what you two do. It's always been pointed out to you, especially on a hunt, that if there is a predator about, the prey scarper. So whatever is causing the little birds to fly away is probably a bigger bird scaring them off.
Right, he will definitely relay that to Drea if she's not already put that together. And ooh.
Hey-o.
And probably no, because I know what other characters would do, but I'm not sure what he would do. I think he would inquire to her if they should pass it on to the dwarves, or if it's something that they'll just keep.
Okay. I will let you decide. As Dalethin is starting
shoving
to
everything he owns in his pockets.
One of the dwarfs comes up to you, Dalethin. Quite slim for a dwarf. Probably still heavier set than Zandria and Kesfiel. But thin for a dwarf. Beard, real nice, oiled, slicked. Even now, just keeps it real nice and slick. Just a few inch below chin. It's not one of the heavy set beards. It's not like they're a young dwarf or up. He looks middle aged as far as dwarfs go. And yeah, he comes on. He's like, "What are you doing? Are you leaving?"
Just not yet. Just getting ready. Start just tying up the duffel bag. Just stick it to one side.
I saw you summon a sword from smoke.
Yeah, that was me.
don't suppose you'll be.
What of it?
You'll and he looks around, nods across to the very few dwarfs that are there, then nods across to the fisher folk. It's not safe on these roads in between populaces. That's why we stick to the sea. I mean, I don't suppose you and your lot sticking around, give us a bit of hand protecting these, and he nods again to the fisher folk.
I'll look at fisherfolk, look at the ones he's gestured to and saying your lot, and go, not my lot, but I'll stick with you for as long as I can. I'm just making sure if things go really bad, I take them with me.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm not going to run off if something big shows up, but I'd start listening a little more because there are no birds up there.
We're aware. The captain's already told us to keep an eye out and just be ready. But I'm not. It's not that we care if you run away, but if you do, can you run away swinging?
Oh, I'm not going to run away. If I have to run away, it will be from something you're not expecting around here, and it will be chasing me. Don't worry.
That's fine. Just don't make it sound selfish or anything. We're just, you seem.
No, entirely understand. Yeah, more sword hands make better hewing.
I'm gonna. I'll carry on, and he pops a really juicy looking berry into his mouth. You cast eyes on it, and you're like, that is a good looking berry. And off he
a good berry, almost.
Good berry.
Good berry.
It's all about the immersion, kids. And off he goes.
I'm gonna get my duffel bag, put it behind, basically put myself up against the tree and put it behind my head like a pillow.
Cool. You lot can see that Dalefin has prepared, sort of, to do one, but not. And it is now. You're pushing. It's after 10, so between 10 and 11. So Boulderback's sorting his crew out to see where to put folk and talking to a few of the fisher folk about who is able to stay awake through the night, or because they obviously want to make sure everyone gets rested, yourselves included. You obviously had a bit of a do earlier on.
If Griff hears him talking about that kind of stuff, he will kind of pipe up a little bit, like for watches.
So Boulderback approaches you all. I'm assuming you're still all individual, bar the two siblings.
Pretty much.
So he'll approach Xandria and Kesfion first. So we're doing the sorting the watch out for the night. I don't really trust my life to the fisher folk. No offence to the people, but it's not fish that will attack us if there is an attack. And I'm not sure what just happened is a coincidence. Any of you, are you staying? I see the elf over there is planning to leave.
We plan on staying. We have business that we must attend to.
That is good. Can you shout at things like that often? I managed to see you. You were very capable. And he looks at Kesfield, avoiding the gaze of Xandria.
He just gets a very almost like placid blink back. You're on your own, my dude.
Okay, I'll you and he walks off. He'll head over. Go on, you carry on.
I think Kesfion will ask Drea if she's wanting to take first or second watch. Because I think regardless whether they had set up or the group had set up a larger watch, I think they would still split the night between them either way.
Okay, so are you two planning on not watching together?
No.
No.
Okay. Cool. So.
Surprising, I know.
I know, I was.
You weren't expecting that. I'm smart.
Well, they can't watch out for each other if they're both on the same watch.
Yeah.
I'm just So, Dalefin, you've obviously been spoken to. Griff and Ari, Boulderback comes over to you. His kelp and leather, like long trenchy coat armour that he's been wearing, seems to now be like he's reinforced it with bark and such that seems to be in the right places, almost like pauldrons and over the chest piece area. There's definitely been some sort of addition to his being. So Griff and Ari, yes? Oh, Luke, you scared me.
What did I do?
You went off for a second.
Your camera went off, and I expected you to come back and it all go wrong, but it's fine. It's fine. So
no worries, but that's noted. Okay.
Cool. So
I will touch nothing ever again.
Don't even blink at it, Luke. Jeez.
Jesus.
Stop breathing, Luke.
Stop breathing. Stop existing.
So,
Okay. No, don't stop existing. I'm sorry.
so Griffin, Ari, we need some watches through the night. My crew are helping as well with some of the fisher folk, and there's a lot of people. I think the two from the south are going to do. They're going to be very good at looking after people, or at least I hope. We'll see.
Just fucks off in the night.
The elf. I don't know if the elf is staying. But how about you, Ari? You seem to be around here. Are you? Or are you just well dressed?
Like, I'm not local by any means, but I'm not too far away. So, like, I get it. I mean, I've got to get to Ebendorf. We've all got to get there. So, you know, it feels much better just to sit together. And it was partly my suggestion that made us kind of take the road. So, yeah, sure. You know, I'm happy to help out with any kind of watches and stuff. That's absolutely fine.
That's wonderful. Thank you. If you could take the late night, so the early hours of the morning, it would help my crew a lot. Griff, are you good for staying awake? Yes? No, this is
2
good.
thumbs up.
Good. Are you okay with any points at Ari?
Yes.
Good. All is well. And he toodles off. He doesn't go anywhere near Dalefin, but what Dalefin you did see is the thin dwarf, as far as dwarves can be thin, is there's not such thing now. You can you notice that he exchanges words and then looks across to you. So it is now time.
I'll give a nod.
It is now time for sleepy time. Griff and Ari, you will be dealing with the second half of the night. Dalefin, Zandria, Kesfion, you are dealing with either the first half or the second half. It is up to yourselves.
I'm going to stay awake until the last 4 hours, and then I will into my bed for those.
So you will deal with the first half. Kesfion and Zandria?
We wouldn't be doing the same one.
So who's doing the first? Who's doing the second?
Rock, paper, scissors, you for it.
Sure.
This is great TV, kids. We can't see you.
Scissors.
Oh, scissors. Scissors.
Legit how the siblings solve everything is rock, paper, scissors. That's the only game you get in the desert.
So now that you've won that, who's doing first, who's doing second?
I'll do second.
There we go. Heads or tails? Nobody says anything.
Winner gets to choose. That's how it works.
Look, they're not smart. They're good at hitting stuff. Okay.
That is very true. Very true. So Zandria, you were doing first.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dalefin, Zandria first, and you three last. There we go. Cool. So during the night, you've all settled down. The storm picks up and gets rather heavy, and you get quite a lot of rain coming down. He says, for those folks at home listening, you should be able to hear lots of rain. There we go. There we go. So it is raining quite a lot. If you are listening and it is too overwhelming, please let me know. This is a trial run with Sirenscape. So the rain is proper trouncing it down now, and the leaves are there's no longer pitter patter, it's forcing the leaves to bend. The rain is that heavy. It's very uncomfortable. Kesfion and Zandria, you do not like it. This is not the desert lands.
Don't like wet.
Dalefin, you find it quite peaceful. There have been moments back home when the rain is welcomed almost as a deity, and for a moment you will probably stand and embrace it, just to accept it as a bit of a blessing type thing. But more of a tradition
100%.
than a supernatural. Harry, it's Raven on. What's new?
No, still don't like it.
And Griff, you know, it doesn't rain overly much from where you're from, but when it does rain, it comes down hard. So, it gets into the early hours. So you're looking at 1-2 o'clock in the morning. Can I have perception checks from Xandria and Dalefin?
Uh, 16.
16?
14.
14. So you start hear thunder, and you see the odd flash of lightning in the sky. 16. Who got the 16? Was it you, Xandria?
Andrea, yep.
So Dalefin, you notice the flashes of lightning, and you obviously hear the thunder. Xandria, when you look up and you see into these clouds, they're real low, real dark, and you can see silhouettes of winged creatures in the clouds. So every time there's a lightning flash, you see a silhouette of these creatures. You can't count how many there is. The clouds are absolutely filled with some sort of flapping creature, and you just get that, like I say, silhouette. So you can see that it is bird-like in shape, where it has a body with wings, but it is just a flash of lightning, and then you can see it. Yep. A few of the dwarfs that are on there with you, they start doing their thing. My camera's gone blurry, hopefully it'll sort itself out. The dwarves are doing their thing, and they too are noticing and pointing up to each other that there is some sort of flying creatures in the clouds. Once they see them, you notice they all, for a very brief second, have these weird wispy green tendrils float around their fingertips, and it starts to sort of wrap around their shoulders and body and legs, like they've imbued themselves with some sort of protective magic. What is going on with that? That'll have to sort itself out. I'm going to do the forbidden.
It never sorted itself out.
I'm going to do the forbidden, and I might have to turn my camera on and off.
Oh my god.
What did you
Oh
just...
no.
Did you do?
Don't fuck it up.
I knew what you meant to say.
Hey, you
Oh,
know
it sorted it.
Yes,
No.
yes.
Ah, yes. Straight back in.
Well, can't do audio, but we're all over the visual. So yeah, so you notice these creatures, and they remain there, and this storm is a constant part of the furniture, as it were.
I just look disgusted.
Disgusted. Flying
I do not like
creatures.
this situation. I do
Oh,
not
you
like
are
being wet. I do not like seeing things that I cannot hit.
That's very cool. And true. So it gets to the time. You reckon if you Eldritch Blast, you won't reach them.
That's a shame.
So it's even worse. It gets to the time to wake up the other three. You can see that the dwarves they now wake up, Boulderback, and a few of the fisher folk that volunteered to help with watches. And Griff, Kesfion, and Ari, you get awoke by Dalefin and Xandria.
I pass on all the information to Kes when I wake him up. So I point out the birds in the sky.
I will not move from my tree, but I will use message to wake them up, giving them what I know, which is very little, and in fact it's raining.
Cool.
Harry puts an extra cloak on.
So, as you now awoke and you sort yourselves out for, you know, such a watch in the evening, which is lovely. There we go. You look up after being pointed out these things, and you three can also see these bird-like creatures, or at least shapes, in the clouds every time there is a lightning flash. Griff, can you give me a perception check?
If I don't roll it off the table, I can. That's a 10.
That's a 10. There we go. There's proper dice rolls, you see. Eh?
It's accurate as well.
And she's back.
So yeah, you see the bird-like shapes. There is, unless you three are conversing, I will fast forward.
No, I think Kess would probably be basically just short of like sitting where he woke up, and kind of watching kind of from there, but basically just sitting in the rain watching the sky.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So it gets to, you're looking at 6 o'clock in the morning, so there's only a couple of hours left before you'll probably start waking everybody up and getting ready to move on. The storm has been throughout the night, it's been constant, relentless. The lightning and thunder, it hasn't seemed to go away, and it hasn't seemed to come any closer. Wherever the storm's source is, it's remaining there. You start hearing now the sounds of birds. Yep. Griff, you know immediately that they sound like ravens. Alright?
Don't blame me.
As you're kind of looking around at 6 o'clock in the morning, can all 5 of you roll initiative?
Why are you like this?
Oh!
Why?
Had to balance it out, didn't we?
Yeah.
1780.
17. I just like.
19.
Can I just say, I run a game on a Thursday. It's 5e, but Cyberpunk. I said, what's your initiative? And the player said, 28.
What?
Yeah, because weird science and technology. So, who got 25 to 20? Wow. 28 to 15.
Me, 19.
19.
17.
19, 17. So, Zandria, Dale, 15 to 10. Oh my god.
11.
Oh, 11. And Harry, did you get 11?
Yep.
What's your dexterity, Harry?
Mine is +3.
What's yours, Cass?
+2.
Cool. Harry, you're going first. Cass. And then Griff. And then we've got the dwarves and the vicious. Right, so. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to. So, in theory, the tune to the fans will change ever so slightly. Please keep me informed if this gets a bit overwhelming. It gets real windy now. The rain's coming down even heavier. You can hear the wind now as it's howling through. You get quite a lot of the old ravens. More thunder is booming and lightning. These shapes that were in the sky, you notice now that every time there's a flash of lightning, there is a swirling of these birds, where they're coming together rather than just appearing in the clouds. They start swirling together, and then there's a flash of lightning, and Griff, Kesvion and Harry, you notice them all just come straight down. Yep. It goes kind of dark as the amount of them starts blocking out what bit of light there is from just the night and the lightning going off. And every time there's a flash of lightning on their way in, you can see less of a silhouette of a bird and more lumps of shapes as they just come flying in and skittering in. Zandria, give me a perception check with disadvantage because you're asleep. Same with you, Delphin, actually, you're up next.
As an elf meditating, I'm semi-conscious. Do I still have to do it at disadvantage?
Yeah.
I was going to say, if he gets it, I get it, because I also just meditate. I don't sleep.
Damn elves.
Unless you were walking.
8 hours sleep.
9.
9. 16.
16. So on your 9, you remain in your trance. The only thing that piques your interest is you hear the flapping of wings. On your 16, you sort of roll over, look up, there's some lightning flashes. Nobody's reacting around the camp because you know you're faster than them. And yeah, there's nothing that's overly startling you awake. You kind of just have a bit of a yawn and go back into your trance. Ari, you have just noticed this silhouette of a lot of raven-sounding birds come absolutely dive-bombing towards the camp. And you only see them when there's a flash of lightning.
Right. It's gonna pull out his rapier and be like, guys! Or try and warn people, I feel.
Yeah, I think Kess will have shouted for Xandria as soon as he kind of saw shenanigans afoot.
So Ari's rapier's out and shouts, and you're preparing yourself, I'm assuming, as you're shouting around. Kesvion, you do similar, your swords are out, and you're shouting for Xandria. Griff.
I'm confused.com. What the hell these birds are doing?
Are these your family?
Wow.
That's Kenku racist.
The
I
bird.
mean, I asked that out of character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just means that the players are Kenku racist.
But yeah, I think honestly he'd be thrown off. Like, he's probably just stuck still in position, which is why he's at the bottom of the initiative order, because he's trying to process all the things he knows that do not connect to this situation right now.
So, as you're doing that, swords are out, shouting about Boulderback and Bottlebelly. They too are shouting. Bottlebelly pulls out just from where she was, where her bedroll is, a two-handed lump of wood. It looks like a club, but the wood is polished. It's smooth. It's not the gnarled-looking staff that Boulderback carries around with him. It looks like it's been what's the word? Paid for, custom designed.
Paid
for.
Paid for.
It's a commission.
It's a commission. There you go. It looks commissioned for the chef. Never trust the chef. And Boulderback's just got his gnarly staff that he walks around on the ship with, and they start shouting. Boulderback's shouting for everyone to wake up, to arms, defend yourselves, and people immediately. Then the villagers are awake, kind of just know what's going on. A couple of them that were doing watch are shouting as well. They immediately, two of the dwarfs of the crew that were there run over to where the younguns were sleeping and get ready, and they seem to look in a very defensive stance, and they're holding those green wispy like orbs in their hands, almost like they're readying an action away to protect the younguns. And the other fisher folk, just some of them are panicking and screaming, others are reaching for the spears they've got, or the crappy bows, short bows they've got ready, not knowing what's going on, as this black silhouette of ravens seems to be dive, or at least coming at the camp immediately. It is now the black silhouette of ravens coming at the thing. As they come swooping down, and they are now within eyesight, as lightning flashes, they are not ravens from when you look upon them. They have these horrible their beaks are like that of a parrot, so that big curled bone beak down at the front. Their wings are bat-like in they're featherless, so they've got that leathery shape, leathery texture, but they're shaped like normal wings, so they have a curved edge to them rather than the webbed side of it. They have 4 legs. All 4 of them have these enormous talons on them. That you can imagine grip, yep. And there's this strange oil just coming off the back of them. They are about, as if this is a thing, but if you threw a halfling in the air with wings, they're about that big. So they are quite large. They're just a bit smaller than Griff, and there is an uncountable number of them coming at you. You just can't stop and see how many there is, and they come slamming in. They come flying in, and of the here's one I made earlier. Of the 13 adults that are of the fisher folk, they come diving in, and they pick up 6 of them. As you see, of their 4 legs, their talons just crunch into these humans and these fisher folk, and there's a sickening squelch. I mean, they haven't just grabbed them, they've almost cut them in half. There's no finesse in grabbing them, and then they're shooting off back into the back skyward. Yeah? Oh, this is lovely. Lovely!
Natural selection, that.
Jesus. A few more of them come in, and of the 7 children that were there, 3 of them get taken away.
No.
As they are just absolutely torn asunder. Like, one of the birds is carrying a child in half, just in two in one half in two, one half in the other 2 talons. Yeah, it's lovely. Lovely. Zandria, as you hear all this screaming and dive bombing of these birds, you hear this flappering, real fast fluttering of leathery wings. You are now fully awake, and you are surrounded. You are pretty sure that if you stood up and swung, or shot missile, or screamed, you'd struggle to miss. There is just a swirling mass of these giant, well, whatever they are, horrible little bastards, we'll call them.
Horrible little bastards. Oh, nice. Cool. In that case, I am going to grab my short bow and attempt to smack one in the face with an arrow.
Cool, so you pull out your short bow and you fire.
I do. Does a 16 hit?
It does indeed. Your arrow goes firing into the masses. You don't really see where it hits, but the next thing you see is the body of one of these things drop to the floor and just sort of twitch a little bit and then settle.
Wow, I don't even need to roll damage for this shit, do I?
Nope.
Cool. That's me, because I don't have any bonus action. So yeah.
Okay. Daelfin, similar mate, you come out of your trance. You haven't yet had a long rest, so remember you are still in the same state you were after last fight. Which Kesvion don't give a fuck about. Neither does Ari.
Two questions before I go any further. Do these things look infernal?
Give me a Arcana check.
That is a 20, not natural.
From your training, you can see no signs that would make you think they are infernal.
Excellent. That means I can actually do something. Second question. The kids. Is it just the kids there, apart from those 2 guards, or are there family members? Are there trees around them, stuff like that?
There are trees everywhere. Like, obviously with the storm coming in, you didn't just camp on the path. You went off and you're kind of in and about the trees off the path because it's full of mud. You've done your best, or at least the dwarves and the fisherfolk between yourselves, to give yourself some sort of covering and camp with branches and leaves. So there's a very small mini camp, I'd say, with the remaining 4 kids and a few of the adults and the 2 dwarfs. They were kind of all clustered together to keep them, obviously they're trying to stay with loved ones and such. The horses are going mental.
Okay, I'm going to yell over to that group.
Yep.
Everyone hit the floor and close your eyes. I'm just going to cast darkness over the lot of them.
Ooh. Okay, 60 foot, yeah?
Yep, with a 15-foot radius.
Oh, maybe I should have done that.
Ah, yeah, sorry. I got that wrong, but yeah.
Oh wait,
It's
that
120
wooden
foot.
flag.
Yeah.
60 foot in range, 15-foot radius.
So it's a 30 foot orb, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it catches some of the trees, so if anything tries to dart in there, it's going to hit a tree before it hits some person.
Yeah, so...
and then I'm going to start the blade dance.
You start the blade dance, yeah? So you reach out, you summon forth your knowledge of the arcane, you cast darkness in the night. So when you see that flash of lightning happen, and you see everything silhouetted, including yourselves and the carnage before you, you can now see a perfect sphere of supernatural darkness where the humans were and the young ones. But yes, and then you hear over the storm a beautiful elven voice, either humming or singing or just speaking words of poetry, but there's a very harmonious effect about it, and you can't understand any of the words he's speaking regardless of what languages you speak. Harry! Alright, Harry.
Right. Quick question.
They're
Obviously,
everywhere.
we hadn't had a full long rest,
Correct.
but did we have a short rest?
You did. You had a short rest while you were gathering together to leave.
Okay. Because otherwise I'm at 2 hit points.
So, have you used your hit point dice then to bring yourself back up?
I can, I just wasn't sure what was going on, so I was just like, I need to check this. Hang on 1 second, because what hit dice to actually use D8s apparently, so I'm just going to use all 3, because screw
Dun, 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 dun.
it. So I'm back up to 12, hooray! That's good to know, because I was like,
I'm in danger.
Short day, short fight. Yeah, so obviously he's pulled out his rapier, he's shouted to everybody. He's seen the kids kind of get carried off, and so he kind of like backs up towards. Oh, actually, no, because the darkness is there. How far does the darkness extend out to? Can you see anything?
It's 30 feet. You can see, so essentially, it is night time, but it's not pitch black, so dark vision is no real advantage other than, you know, but the lightning is that consistent, and I can't think of any words tonight. Often. That's
Frequent.
Frequent, there you go. Jesus Christ. Luckily, I'm not a dungeon master. So you, the lightning is that frequent that it is lighting up enough that you can get your bearings that you wouldn't be at a disadvantage, other than the supernatural darkness that Dalethin just cast.
Okay, so basically anything that he can see that he can hit.
You are surrounded. Yeah, you are well within range. They are swooping down. They are uncountable. You have no idea how many they are. These are massive. Massive birds.
I mean, it's all he can do, so he's just going to be like, I need to try and protect these people of some description. Just seen the kids be carried off, so he's like, yeah, I'm just going to try and hit things. So we will try and hit something with the rapier, but it won't be a sneak attack because we're not 1-on-1.
Cool.
Oh. 10.
10.
Mhm.
You hit. And
wow.
as these creatures come swarming in around you, you just whip out. You've got your rapier already out, and you just whip out in a strike, and you feel the tip of your rapier pierce through the flesh, as easy as if you were stabbing paper. So when your lovely teacher used to teach you how to thrust with the rapier, they put wads and wads of parchment up until eventually you could pierce through the wads. It feels like that. It's reminiscent of getting through. You've mastered it that much. You've just gone straight through it like nothing is there.
In that case, he's going to use his bonus action and get the dagger.
Cool. You smash out with your dagger. Give me an attack. Smash. Who smashes with a dagger?
Oh, why am I rolling a d4?
Because you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Nat 20! Nat 20! I'm going to take a picture.
For God's sake. So I don't think that you're going to run out of.
It's one of our dice, might I add.
A bardic inspiration. You can buy that 20 dice as well. So so with your dagger, so you pierce with your rapier, you spin your dagger in your hand, and you just lash out with your left, and you cut through 2 of them, and they just both hit the deck and sprawl into the ground, rolling. That's Harry's go. Are you moving anywhere, or you just kind of stood on the spot, standing your ground?
Standing his ground because he doesn't want to get any. Like, he can't really move back towards the group because the darkness is there, but he's also just like, just get them away from us.
Well, you can see you lot. What you can't see is the fisher folk, 2 of the dwarves. So what you can see is Boulderback, Bottle Belly, and you 5.
Okay. He'd probably kind of back towards them then, thinking like at least if they're together, they might target them instead.
Yep. Kesfion, what do you do?
I think he is going to back up so that he is kind of like not quite back to back with Xandria, but so that neither of them can kind of really be snuck up on. And then he's just going to try and wreck some nasty birds. Weak shit. So dominant hand, that is sorry, too many tabs up. That is 12 to hit.
You slash out with your scimitar, and you just cut through one of them. It just in half. No resistance whatsoever.
And then offhand is a 22, which will hit.
You again.
Unless this one is the nails.
As one dives in at your face, you sort of spin around it, and you cleave through it and the one behind it.
Nice.
And that is Griff's go. Griff, these things are getting killed out of the air by by the people that you saw on the boat. The horses are kicking off. There's lightning. These creatures are diving in and taking people with them, young and old. There's a 30-foot sphere of supernatural darkness. There's a dance of sword swinging shipness from Kesfion and Ari. What do you do? Fly away. Brothers.
No. Big fat no. I'm trying to think. Most of the helpless people are in the circle of darkness, right?
Yes, it appears
I'm
that way.
aware that was casted by a friend.
Give me a perception check.
That's an 11.
Yeah, you're aware. Delphin, you weren't doing it sneaky. Yeah, it's not like he was stealthing it.
Cool. Good. I'm just trying to work out who.
You can still see these bird creatures diving into the darkness and just squawking and cawing, but they don't seem to be coming out with anything.
Okay. Probably gonna go near the darkness, basically, with my shield and my longsword, like pissed off,
yeah.
angry, like.
So you shoot across the camp,
swiping
and
in the air.
essentially put yourself as best you can in a defensive position around the darkness, knowing that obviously you can't protect all of it, but you can be a bit of a target in front. You have your action and bonus.
Just out of curiosity, where I'm currently stationed in your mind, am I very close to anybody that I can see? Like within 5 feet of anybody that I can see?
Right now, before you moved, Bottleback.
Okay.
Bottle Belly, sorry.
Yeah.
After you've moved, the 2 dwarfs that you saw in a guarded position by the fisherfolk, if they're still where they were stood, then they're in the darkness but 5 feet away.
Okay, that's cool. I'm just going to basically, as anything swipes down, I'm going to slice at it.
Cool, roll.
Yeah, that balances out. I rolled a 5, so that's a 9.
Ooh, you just miss. So you bring your shield out. You're there. You mime at them. Go away. And you swing your longsword. You do hit one with the flat of the blade, and it sort of spins into another, but it then rights itself. And then that's my weird noise. And then it gets back up.
Okay. Just so you're aware, if anything, I'm trying to make sure Griff's ready to do protection.
Gravy time.
So when wielding a shield and a creature you can see attacks a target other than you within 5 feet, I don't have to see the target.
Yes, that's fine.
You can impose disadvantage on the roll.
Yeah, because of your protection, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's fine. That's Griff.
Mm-hmm.
Boulderback runs 30 feet away from you lot, smashes the ground with his staff, and casts Thunderwave. And about 12 of these creatures just sort of boom as the Thunderwave and a 300-foot thunderclap gets heard. And about 12 of these creatures just drop, pop up to the ground. Bottlebelly runs in a similar angle from Boulderback to put space between themselves and away from yourselves. And again, she swings her commissioned club, slams it into the ground, and casts Thunderwave again. And even above the storm, you can hear this supernatural, magical thunder boom. And again, 12 to 15 of these creatures just and hit the deck. There is still swarms of them going round. Downstairs, the 2 dwarfs that are protecting the fisher folk. One of them steps out, and you can notice that it's the thin dwarf from before. Puts his hand on your shoulder, Griff, and just says, "Keep him away. We'll protect the." And as he's finishing that sentence, you just feel his hand come off your shoulder as he goes up in the air. As 2 of these creatures slam in behind you, and to the other one. So you notice now there's an attack behind you. I'll let you use your protection to save one of the dwarfs.
Probably save the one that was talking to me because that's the one that I'd noticed.
Cool. Well, you see them coming like over your head type thing, so they're definitely attacking more than one entity. So you save Thin Dwarf. Thin Dwarf.
Yeah.
Cool. As they come in and they grab him, and then 2 of them, and you can see the talons sink into his chest, you just smash your shield into the pair of them, and they both just get skittered through the air, hit a few more, and 2 hit the deck. Probably the 2 you've just hit with the shield, but they just get munched up in the masses. But then you see another dwarf next to him just come flying out the supernatural darkness and get taken off into the air, screaming his head off. What happens to him? Nobody knows.
I think we could make an educated guess, though.
Yeah.
And then we're back round to Zandria.
Oh, here's Andrea, the best.
Wow.
I'm just stating how it is. I am going to put my bow away, and I'm going to get out my daggers, and I am going to attack with my daggers.
Cool. So you, swinging your daggers, roll both your attacks at disadvantage.
Both my attacks at disadvantage.
Yep.
Bear in mind, one is my action, one is my bonus action.
Yep. Roll them both at disadvantage.
Oh my god, you're making me use like all 4 of my d20s here, guys.
I do like dice.
We'll do the second. So at disadvantage, we have a 15 plus 4, and we have a 10 plus 4.
So a 19 and a 14.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. The storm upon you, you're having one of your days. So the heaviness of the storm and the amount of rain that's coming down, you're short of breath. You kind of feel light on your feet. You've got your daggers out, but you're kind of angry at the situation anyway because of the rain. There's no sun. Bloody brother bringing me all this way. And you just, in anger, lash out with both your daggers. Almost in a don't go down now moment. We'll deal with that later. And you just slash out with your daggers. And you just catch 2 of these creatures flying past you. You're just as shocked as they are that they got 2 daggers in the face. And they just tumble into the ground next to you. And your breathing is real heavy. You are at disadvantage until I say otherwise. Yep. Dalefin.
Have I noticed that that magical darkness doesn't appear to be working?
You have noticed that there is a lot of creatures diving into it, and you've only seen one dwarf taken out of it. So it's not that it's not working, it's just that every now and then they may be successful.
Okay. Can I see any of the birds that are carrying the kids out?
Perception check at disadvantage, because there is a mass, and there are some of the children, little people.
15's my lowest.
15's your lowest. Of the 3 kids that got taken, you can see 2 of them sort of wriggling in under the clutches. One of them only seems to be caught by one of the claws rather than all 4. One of them is in half, and the other one is wriggling around, but the bird-like creature has a hold of it. So 2 of them are alive and wriggling. Other one is not a chance.
Magic missile 2nd level, 2 darts each to the birds.
All right. Do you want to know how high they are before you do that?
Might be an idea, but at this point in time, I think it's not going to make a difference. They're either dead up there, or they've got a chance of hitting a tree on the way down and catching themselves.
Cool, we'll go with that. So you sort of look into the mass. You just see every time there's a flash of lightning again. You focus. You throw out your magic missiles. You lot see that arcane energy just burst forth from Dalefin as he's singing this poetic song. And 2 creatures, they just get poof, and they just spin, and they let go of the 2 children, and the 2 children fall. Dalefin.
Reaction, feather fall.
On both of them. On both of them.
I can do both.
What's the encompassing range?
Bear with me, I'll have a look. That one I'm not sure on.
1.
Come on, D&D Beyond D.
They're 20 feet apart, just so you know.
Right. Screw it, I'm just going to bear with.
I'll have a look. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do this.
60 feet. It says 60 feet for range or area for featherfall.
What, as in, so anyone within range area 60 feet? You can choose up to 5
falling creatures within range.
So yeah, they're easily in range, right? You featherfall both of them through the masses of carnivorous ravens.
They get picked up by a number 2.
They may be an easier target now, but we'll see, won't we?
And this is why you should.
You are on mute, Dalefin. You are on mute. Your monologue was missed, Dalefin.
It's fine. I have another magic missile.
Yes. You will be using it. So that's Dalefin's go. Harry, you can see Dalefin now just stalking in and about the place, firing off magic missiles into the air. Griff is smashing him with his shield, swinging his long sword. Xandria is just always angry. Just always angry. Every time you look at Xandria, she's either shouting someone into flames or stabbing them with daggers.
Can you see the falling kids?
You can see the 2 children, they got dropped. You see that you obviously followed the magic missiles as they puff in the air and lit up. And you see the 2 children fall and then float. And you are very aware of what's just been cast as it were cast upon you. But they are now slowly moving through a path.
How far away are they? Are they within range of him getting to them?
What do you mean by getting to them? Under them?
Like underneath, yeah.
You could get there with your movement and bonus action dash. Because they'd have had to be within 60 feet for Dalefin to cast Featherfall on them. So you know they're catchable. Or at least you can get under them.
Yeah, I feel like you'd want to get under them so that if anything did try and attack them, you could defend them.
Cool. They are obviously falling 20 feet apart, or floating.
But he'd probably try and get like in the middle if he could, and so he could like move towards if anything tried to attack them essentially.
Okay.
And that's yeah, that would be his turn then, if that's his bonus action dash. Wait, no,
you've got your action. You've still got your action.
I was going to say I still got an action because it's bonus action. Rogues! Yes!
You've still got stuff to do.
Yeah!
So
Like,
you
oh yeah.
rapier strike?
Yes. Let's roll Mr. Nice. I like rolling at 20s. Oh, well, we balanced out, didn't we, with a nat 1?
Oh.
Ah. So you well, you run. You're just rushing and rushing and rushing, and you just exert yourself to get there. So you're kind of under the 2 kids that are now feather falling. You just see one out of the corner of your eye and just stab out with your rapier. You don't feel it hit anything. You just ignore the fact whether you have or you haven't hit it. You don't even check. You're concentrating too much on the nippers. Kesfion. It's all kicking off, lad.
Would Kespion be aware enough that Zandria was starting to struggle?
Give me a perception check with disadvantage, because this is on the same round it happened. So this is all in like a second or two. And you know, she's just obliterated 2 creatures, so it's not that bad.
Yeah. That is a 17 though.
On disadvantage, nice. Yeah.
Oh no, wait, shit, that's on disadvantage.
Alright.
No, that is a 14 then.
Cool. You do indeed notice that Zandria is doing what Zandria does, and you are also aware of what's causing her to do what Zandria does. So yes, you are aware she's having one of her moments.
I think he's going to stick closer to her then, so we can keep an eye.
You can essentially get within 5. You can get right up to her if you so wished.
Yeah, no, that's going to be the plan. And then try and hit another 2 of these.
Cool. Swing away.
That is 13.
13. You slash one out of the air, spinning your scimitar. You come round with the second one.
Oh, and that is 20. Not that it matters.
And you take another 2 out of the air with your scimitar. Griff, everyone's now seems to be moving around the place. You've just seen Harry go stonking across. You have guessed straight away after seeing Dale Finn cast arcane missiles into the air, and now the children are slowly falling, that Harry looks to be under them, or at least in that area. Kespion's good running over to Zandria. Zandria's angry, shouting at the storm, trying to defy the storm. Ain't none of this in summer.
I mean, young woman shouts at sky.
Yeah.
I mean, Griff is also angry, which is different for Griff, because Griff don't get angry, but he's pissed off at this. So he understands that. It's probably a different kind of anger, but he gets it. After what was said to him by Dwarfy Person, he's probably going to try and draw attention if he can, despite also being a bird person. I don't know, he's an idiot though. He's gonna probably try and be anywhere but the people that these birds are diving towards then, to try and again spread the, what's the word? Attention. There we go.
Welcome to my world.
Words.
He'd probably do something loud if it would make a difference, but there's a whole storm going on.
Caw.
Yeah, he is probably going to caw at them, to be honest. Probably hitting his shield with his mace as he's running along, trying to just be loud and noisy and annoying.
So are you trying to taunt most of them?
Yes.
Are you trying to aggro? Right, cool. Give me a...
aggro away from everything.
Bird shouts at birds.
Give me an intimidation check.
This will go interestingly. Oh, okay. Why do I have a +2 to intimidation?
Roll it with advantage because of the storm and who you follow.
Almost got a 20. No, 17.
So 17. You go banging out into the storm, slamming your mace on your shield, and it is echoing. You lot hear this like above the storm, like this. Griff is smacking the crap out of the shield, and it is sort of echoing with every sharp bang on the shield, and there is a very, very brief moment where you'd swear blind that Griff was the storm. The creatures come dive bombing at the darkness and then veer towards Griff. Not all of them, because there is a lot of them, but you have a vast majority of these creatures that are going to come stonking towards you, and you just stand there banging away, and woof, they all come flying in. I need you to give me 3 dexterity saves. So the first one.
Do some athletics.
Dexterity saves, yeah?
Yep.
First one's 14.
Cool. Second one.
8.
Cool.
9. He's wearing heavy armor.
Backflip, semi-cartwheel, falls on face.
So the first one, you come in as you're banging away, and 2 of these creatures come down at you. You angle your shield, and they hit your shield and slide off. Just piss wet through, slide off. Yeah. The second one, you stumble in the mud from the force of this hitting your shield, but it it got lower than an 8. It comes slamming into you and pushes you back into the mud. The next 3 that come at you, however, rolled a natural 20. My turn. All 3 of them, they sort of come in, grab Griff, and you go up into the air about 30 feet, and you take 3 points of piercing damage as talons just crunch into your shoulder. You would cry out in pain, but I don't know, mime it. And you are now 30 foot in the air in the talons of this creature.
You can still caw in pain.
You caw in pain. So Griff again is in the thick of it.
In the Kenku, could you stop ascending?
They want to fly. It is now the dwarf's go. You hear Boulderback shout to Bottlebelly, "Give us some light." Yeah? Boulderback then casts Daylight. And a 60-foot glowing orb of pure daylight centered.
It's gravy time.
Centered on centered on that's brilliant. Brilliant.
A big jug of gravy illuminates in the sky above us.
I love it. I'm so pleased with myself for that. Probably. So this 60-foot orb of daylight centres on the camp, and Boulderback runs, so he's in there with you. Bottlebelly does the same, and kind of, as best she can, put it adjacent with Boulderback's. All the raven birdie-like creatures of death within the daylight evaporate. I'm talking old school vampire movie, like sun hits them, ash, just gone. Snipe's got nothing on Boulderback, just saying. And obviously it doesn't touch the orb of darkness, I believe. Daylight doesn't penetrate the magical darkness, does it, Delphin? You're muted.
Yes, it completely obliterates it.
Does it?
Yes.
I thought it had to be. Alright.
It's a 2nd level spell I'm casting. That is a lot higher.
It's only 1 level higher. Let's go with that shot. Yeah, it's dispelled. You are right, mate. You are right. Yeah, sorry, I got it mixed up with something else. So yeah, so cool. Your darkness gets obliterated, but you are now encompassed in about 100 feet combined of daylight, and the creatures that are trying to bomb into it, every time they hit the perimeter of that daylight, they just ash. But they're not stopping. It's like they're just throwing themselves at the wall, as it were. It's now a very surreal thing to see, where you are bubbled in daylight. It's still raining, pissing down. There's still thunder and lightning going up ahead, and it's the 6 o'clock in the morning and dark. So you've got that real weird contrast of daylight, pissing down rainstorm, and a night storm above you with these weird raven creatures. Now you can see them clear as day, as they hit the orb of daylight. Boulderback and Bottlebelly point out that they will this will run out in an hour. So you are semi in initiative, but we'll put the initiative to the side, remain in the same initiative order. You now have a bit of free movement in the sense that Boulderback comes running over to you, like, in 1 hour the daylight will be gone. So that'll take you to roughly dawn. What do you do? Go. 3, 2, 1, you're in the room. They're still pottering in. Bam, 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 bam. The children before. So yes, Griff, you fall. You give me an acrobatics check. Harry, there are 2 children feather falling. You run over. What did you get, Griff?
8.
8. Cool. You take 2 points. 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, no.
As you just crumple onto the floor and then stand back up. Harry, as the children come down, they're coming down slow enough that you're able to just guide them down. One of the kids you'll recognise straight away as the one that was listening to your pirate story for the night, and his dark hair, his dark black hair is sodden to his head, and you can see bits of blood coming down from under his hair, and a weird blood pouring out of his shoulder that keeps getting washed away from all the rain, and you can see the gash, pierced mark in his shoulder. He's obviously whimpering, bless him. And yeah, so you've got a lot of daylight going on. Boulderback straight over. We have 1 hour. Get everyone in, and he's going over, and the remaining crew and the adults and the kids, he's bringing them over. They're all again, they're not having a good day or two, and they're sort of sat almost in the middle of this orb of daylight storm going on around them. 2 or 3 of the horses gone. They brought the other ones in. Rickety little cart they had with some stuff on it, and they've all come in now. You've got about an hour. You can guess that sunrise will coincide, but you have no idea.
He will bring the kids over to obviously sort of the group kind of thing. Doesn't really have any medical kind of skills, so kind of points them towards the dwarves and is they can probably help you, because he remembers seeing the dwarves healing and stuff yesterday.
Straight away, the 2 that were guarding there, the black sphere, come running over and put some sort of, again, that green wispy magic, and it encompasses the kids' wounds, and they start sealing up a little bit. They obviously still shell shocked and crying and in a bit of pain, but the actual damage has been healed. There's no sign of the 6 adults that were taken away. The other kid obviously never made it. The grandmother and mother that you saw holding the 2 nippers, they were part of the 6 gone. So you've got little Guillaume, just black haired, piss wet through, stood with Harry, just sort of whimpering and trying to catch the breath. You've got Xandria, who is doing a very good job of pretending to catch her breath. Kesfion, Xandria is not in a good way, despite her being stood tall. What are you doing?
So what's the area like that we're in?
It is trees, forest, a very rarely walked path, so it's quite muddy. Imagine being on a farmer's field when the horses have been running up and down it in the rain, and it's just all churned up. That's what the path is like, because it's very rarely used, so it's very soft ground. Yeah. The trees all around you, you're almost in the middle of a forest. It's just quite dense.
Yeah.
And it's raining.
But not dense enough to keep them out, right?
No. If you went further off, well off the road, it would become thicker with trees.
But it would also become darker, so they'd be able to last longer. Aberration. I don't like not having spells anymore, Eddie.
It's weird, isn't it? I'm like, oh my god, this is so weird. I don't like it.
Welcome to the fighter's life.
So just punch it with swords.
You can see that they're still just battering this daylight shielding. As it were.
So from where we can see that they're just battering into the daylight, does it seem like their numbers have actually been depleting any?
Yes. There is definitely a lessened aggression to it.
Could an educated person make a guess at whether or not enough of them would have depleted within an hour from bodying themselves that they would be defeatable?
Give me an intelligence roll.
This is something that I am floating out of character to the group. Because that intelligent person is not Kespion.
Ari, your entire life you've seen this situation. So this is very similar to what you've grown up with, Ari. So give me a roll of... Give me a... What's higher, wisdom or intelligence?
Intelligence, weirdly.
Cool, give me an intelligence check.
This is so weird. Like, what is that? That is a 10?
10?
Yeah.
Cool.
Whatever. That's a
So,
roll,
Dale Finn, you also give me a intelligence check.
yeah, you might be.
Anybody?
Hold on.
So, Kesfion, Griff and Zandria, Siege Warfare has never been mentioned in your life. Oh, you can kiss my airy one, I tell you now, lad.
Oh, look at me, pals. Intelligence is my...
What?
You rolled a nat 20?
That's why the photo's being taken.
Yeah.
Tut tut tut.
Jesus Christ. So, what's your score, Dale Finn?
708.
23, brilliant. Ari, you got a what? A number. So
11. Yeah. I got a normal
number.
So, Ari, you're looking about the place and seeing these creatures smash and smash against a impenetrable force, very reminiscent to where you grew up. It looks like they're doing quite a stupid job of just dying, but other than that, you can't see any advantage to you staying here, running away, them keep hitting it. You just can't quite focus enough. Probably too much red wine the night before. Dalefin, you immediately recall the teachings of your people and what they've faced in the past and present, and good chance future. To see a force like this that is just swarm tactics throwing itself against a 100% death rate, you reckon an hour of that lot hitting that daylight spell will probably ruin their day forever. Example, they will die.
I will pass that information on to the nearest... I'll pass it straight on to Harry, because it's the one I've spoken to before. But I am immediately going to start a short rest, because I have one spell left, and no blade singing.
Well, if you agree to the short rest, you are all out of initiative, and you will have 1 hour to take your short rest, at which point, right on the end of your short rest, daylight drops. Cool.
Ari will probably, because he's already spent all his shit dice. Ari will probably go up to them and attempt to, like, if you can hit any of them, they're even kind of veering off at all. Like,
they can't even get close. This orb is 100 feet. So a daylight spell is a 60-foot thingy, and 2 of them went off. So they have absolutely domed you from these things.
Yeah, that's fair. In that case, he will kind of try and do a little patrol and just make sure there's nothing else creeping up on them. Nothing else that looks like it's like almost like trying to control these things, because where the heck are they coming from? But they're probably...
The sky.
Yeah, they're probably coming from a little rip in the sky. He's probably going to keep alert though. He'll probably kind of like be around and try and keep alert.
Okay. So you, any of you else doing anything during the hour of?
I think.
Well,
Kess
Oh
will
yeah,
probably
Zandria,
be-
give me a Constitution save.
I was about to say, I just rolled some hit dice. They were wonderful. I don't want to tell you what I got for them,
Remember,
but
you're
I'll
still
admit
at disadvantage.
Yeah, it's fine because, well, I'll do the con save and we'll go from there. Con save is shit. That's a 5.
Cool. So Kess, as you turn to face Zandria, she hits the deck. Zandria, you are on 0 hit points.
Cool, that's fine. I'll ignore the fact that I just rolled my hit dice.
They are still spent if you rolled them.
Damn it! Well, there we go. Do you want to know what I got? On a disadvantage, I got a 2 and then a 1, and judging by the fact that it says minus a 1, I only gained 1 hit point.
Oh,
That's
God. Just so you know for future, you're not disadvantaged on hit dice rolls. It doesn't
no,
count.
that was just a 1 and a 2.
Wonderful, ridiculous. But yeah, your sister's out cold, mate.
Standard.
You are you're stabilised. You're not death saves, Andrea, just so you know.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, he's obviously going to
CPR.
dash over, stow his swords, and like dive down to check on her where she's just.
Her breathing is incredibly shallow.
I think he's going to glance around and try and spot Kenku, whose name he didn't actually get, but he knows that he helped the last time, so he's just going to like frantically try and see if he can see him again.
You see Griff.
It's quite noticeable considering the crowd.
You're getting a few looks, Griff.
And
Believe me, Griff's in a weird state of mind right now. Anyway.
And he's just going to look up from where he's holding his sister and shout, "Help!"
Griff will go over at quite a speed, but then kneel down and then remember, shit, I'm completely spent and I didn't rest properly. So kind of just look at her and be like, and I don't.
He'll just be looking at you with absolute desperation.
Puss in Boots.
He doesn't even know what he's looking at here.
Just an unconscious.
Give me a medicine check.
Yeah, I was going to say he'll try anything he can, but he's not very good at standard medicine. I mean, I rolled a 14, and I have no pluses on it.
So Zandria is not in a fatal state, or it doesn't appear so, but she is just unconscious.
Okay.
Her breathing is real shallow. Storm going off overhead, piss wet through.
He'll do basic stuff like if he has anything to kind of keep her warm whilst she's unconscious. Like his cloak, he's probably going to take that off and put it over her, not over her head, but like over her, like a blanket.
Just
Very
Kesfield's
obviously
face.
not over her head.
I just love it if Kesfield was like, "Can you do anything?" You just put the blanket over her head.
No.
Gone.
No.
She did.
Yeah, he'll do that, and then he'll
God.
kind of. He hasn't heard anything recently he can copy. He'll put a hand on Kesfion's shoulder and just kind of like nod, like trying to be like, his mind is all over the place right now, so he's just trying to be like, it's okay. He'll probably say calm down in Ari's voice, unfortunately, because that's the closest thing he has to it's okay.
That will not be received well.
No, that.
Calm down, calm down.
You'll go from a face that looks rather desperate, almost pleading for you to help, to like furious. But you could help before.
He's gonna.
You can.
AD.
Yep, all around you. 2 seconds, Delphin. All around you. You can see. I say all around you. You see the dwarfs giving out berries to the people that you saw them eating before. Delphin, you were saying.
Does it look like there's been any hope of a fire being kept alive with this rain?
Not a chance. Not unless it is magical.
I understand. I'm going to go gather up a bunch of sticks as much as I can. I'm going to abandon my long rest, bundle them up, and for the next hour, I'm just going to be firing firebolts into it. Yeah, abandon my short rest, just fire firebolt into a set of sticks.
Death by cantrip, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so Delphin, you're doing that. Zandria is in a way. Harry, what are you doing? Just banging one of the dwarves?
If he's noticed what's happening with the Caspian and Zandria's show, he's going to be like, they're kind of scary. But then if he notices them like threatening Griff at all, he'll just be like, right.
It's less threatening. It's less threatening and more. You can definitely see the fearful emotion on Caspian. Which I will say, considering what you've seen Caspian do and the way he moves, you are aware of his skill set, and you know plenty of people with that skill set, and the way Caspian is reacting is foreign to what you've normally seen from those with that skill set. That was a bit too cryptic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I feel like he's really scared of the sibling.
We all are, don't worry about it.
But if he's coming near the dwarves and stuff, and obviously the helping the kids and stuff, he's gonna be like, is there any way you think they're having issues over there? Is there any way we can like try and help Zandria?
You see Bottle Belly, she's passing out berries. She's got like 3 or 4 berries left in her hand. She's like, come on, we'll go over. Gion does not leave your side, Harry. Like, full on, like, even if you know, no matter what you do, everywhere you look, Gion is right on you.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Emotion
Well done, you're now.
God damn it.
So yeah, so Bottle Belly walks over, sees Caspian and Griff, and obviously the situation. Can I help? What's up? And just pushes past you two. Goes down to Zandria, puts one of these wonderful looking, good looking berries in Zandria's mouth, and just slowly massages Zandria's jaw so she can eat the berry. Zandria, you do come round. You are on 1 hit point, but you have 2 levels of exhaustion.
Sweet. As soon as I come round after eating the berry, I will jolt up, coughing fit, and I will cough into my hands. And then when I pull my hands away, there was blood all over my hands.
Griff's just looking blinking.
Bottle Belly just looks at Caspian. Normal.
He just kind of like sighs and kind of nods and sort of mouths a thank you.
She stands up. Good. And leaves a few more berries here. Eat these. They'll make you feel full, but they'll help. And looks at Harry. I've got to go help the. And then Bottle Belly will go off and deal with the remaining fisher folk. Kill them all. So, are you doing anything for the remainder of the daylight spell? Are you hoping that once it drops, all is well in the world?
most of the time Griff will have been doing stuff like what happened with Kesvion, like trying to help but tired, so really can't do anything, and it's that's one stress level for him. Another is what just happened and the connection to his deity. He is like, even if it's not got anything to do with them, the relation is there and it's messing with his head. And the fact that he couldn't protect people properly, he is in a place right now. So whilst he has spent a lot of the time helping as much as he can, he will have spent some time kind of trying to be slightly away from people, and he will have been looking at a particular page in his book and kind of fingering over an image and just looking very confused. But yeah, most of the time he's spent trying to help people and probably showing a little bit of frustration that he can't help and a lot of remorse that he can't help a lot of the time.
Okay. Wonderful. Anybody else?
Mostly just mithering his sister a bit, I think. But like, while also kind of darting between like keeping an eye on her and like watching what's kind of going on above to see if it's the crowd essentially is starting to thin any, or if they're still just going at it.
They are thinning, but they are still going at it. They are not very sentient, it appears, and they are swarming, as they are just angrily attacking you lot, or at least failing to. You can see it thinning throughout the hour, but it is still a swarm, just less of. There's still enough of them that you reckon, quick math, if daylight dropped and they stick around, you'd lose more, but you could possibly fend them off. You're confident that anyone who can swing something sharp, seeing how soft they were when you hit them, could defend themselves, but they're coming in 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, they're just diving in.
Yeah.
So you are more confident than you were, but you still aren't 100%.
As the hour's going on,
Yep.
I'm going to wait for a little bit just while I'm keeping this fire going, see that people are sort of filtering away in multiple directions. I'm going to sigh a little bit, and I'm going to message everyone of this lot to come towards this fire.
Okay.
Everyone coming
You
over?
all receive a message from Dalefin.
I imagine whilst Xandria is being mothered by his by her sibling, just gonna go, leave me alone, I'm fine. And then going, I'm fine. And then just
Xandria,
wants us.
this specific 2 levels of exhaustion can be removed by a short rest, not a long rest. Whereas,
That's fine.
so normally a long rest per exhaustion. When I give you it in these scenarios, a short rest will get rid of it.
Cool. I will make a note of that because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get exhausted a lot.
Welcome to roleplay, Mother Kippers.
Welcome to roleplay with disadvantage. Yeah. Yes, Andrea will just be like, just grabbing a hold of Cass and just be like, come on, the wizard wants us.
Once they're all round the fire, I'm just going to take a moment, look over them. No idea of half your names, but if we want to actually survive beyond this dome going down, we're going to need to actually work as a unit, I think. If we can get everyone in one place, surround them, and just put up enough steel, we should be able to hold them off for as long as it takes. But if we scatter and spread out, we are dead. They're just going to pick us off.
As you say that, Delphin, Gion sort of steps from behind Ari and goes, he's Ari, pirate.
I'm going to smile at Gion, look up and go, nice to meet you, Harry the pirate. Yeah, if we round the wagons up, pull the weapons out, we should be able to last for as long as it takes before the sun comes up. But if we split up and all go do our own thing, we are going to die here. 100%. Has anyone got any questions about that?
You'll get a head shake from Kesvion.
The second Castellan does that, I'm going to point at Castellan and go, and now you're in charge.
The look of sheer terror in his eyes.
The minute that is mentioned and you're in charge, that is literally the response you get from Xandria. Manic laughing, belly overing, and then like
blood
coughing,
everywhere.
blood everywhere, but still laughing and just being like, oh, that's funny. That is great. No, I'm sorry.
There is no insight check needed, Delphin.
I understand.
You do not want my brother to be
So
like, as she
if you're
says that, there's like a
volunteering for it,
frantic like head shake of like, yes, no, she's right, but yeah, no, you don't.
are you two not the best combatants here with blades?
What? I don't know about that. Delphin,
Just gonna point between
you
them.
a thousand. Delphin knows whether you project this in roleplay is up to you. 1,000% knows Kespion is a badass when it comes to blade work.
Fair. I'm just gonna point between you two. Weapons best here, I'd imagine. Just gonna point at the big long scimitars.
Turns out Xandria's quite the dagger girl as well. So.
Either way, you two call out for assistance, basically point us in the right direction and we'll fill those gaps. Okay?
Sounds like a plan.
Alright. After this, we'll go about being strangers in corners again. But for this one, we need to round it all up. I've got one spell left in me, and it's not a powerful one. Once that's done, I'm dry, I have no more tricks. So I will be basically useless. Has anyone else got any special...
Do you not?
Yes, but if I'd have had more time to rest, I would be a lot better with it.
From what I've seen, you don't need to be amazing to drop these things.
Oh, I'm still going to be swinging, don't mistake me, but you lot will be better than me. If anyone has any special skills they want to let us all know about, now's probably the time.
I mean, I'm better one-on-one, but this situation ain't gonna have a one-on-one situation. I'm cool with that, because I think it's just a case of just trying to hit the things. I think some of the fisher folk might be quite useful too. If you give them something sharp, they can at least help defend.
Let's dish out our spare weapons to them then. If you want to do the one-on-one thing, you focus on making sure anyone who gets taken up gets brought back down.
If I can reach them, I will.
I might have something that could quite possibly confuse them enough to give us a little bit of extra time, but we'll see how it plays out.
Griff just knocks on his... Sorry. Griff just knocks on his shield and shrugs.
I'm going to smile at Griff and go, and you're basically, you are going to have to look after all of us.
No pressure.
We're going to keep as close to you as possible.
No pressure, little one.
He nods. He's kind of hugging his shield probably as much as he can be. Just like the corner of it.
I mean, you're also pretty good with the sword, so you know.
While you're all sat around your fire, Boulderback comes over. We got a plan. We've managed to heal up. There's at head count we have 7 of the adults left and 6 of the children. And he sort of looks down when he reels off that one of the children didn't make it. For a moment we thought we had 5 until we saw this little one. Points at Gale. Do we have a plan?
I'm going to pull out 2 short swords, hand them over to him, and a dagger. Start arming your people, Claude.
He stares at the short swords, his gnarled staff. With your permission, I'll give them to the fisher folk.
Sounds good. I'm now going to point over at the twins and go, as far as I'm concerned, they're the people to talk to over being in charge of this one. I'm leaving it with them. And then I'm going to carry on warming the fire up.
Okay. He looks at Caspian and Xandria. If you don't say anything to him, he will walk off.
Caspion's gonna look at Xandria and near, you can tell that is panic in your brother's eyes.
Just look at him, just like, you're such a shit.
I'll take that as
Yes,
a
I still
maybe,
love you.
and Balderbat will walk away and start passing out the short swords and the daggers. Are you doing anything else before the daylight spell runs out?
I think he will head over to the centre and start like attempting to put together the plan that had been suggested. But he is. Kess is very much a point me in the direction and I'll hit it. He is not the one that will lead you into battle, but he'll fight alongside you. So he's kind of like still very much deferring to Xandria to just be like, this is what we were supposed to do, right? And like trying to like pull stuff together that way.
Yeah, Xandria would have followed suit and started corralling people into a group so that they can easily be surrounded, basically just explaining.
They listen.
Damn right you listen.
As the blood pouring out your mouth, coughing in the faces with daggers and you are both aware. You are both more comfortable in this situation. You're fighting on the sands. You're used to not being closed in. You're used to multiple targets coming at you and you having to deal with them. And especially now you're aware of them, and this is head on. This fits more into what you're better at and have been doing most of your lives. So you prepare yourselves. Xandria moves the people into similar formations that you used on your desert skirmishing, and you are ready now for a large amount of something to come at you and be able to deal with it, or at least you're confident that you are.
Is there anyone who still is unarmed?
The children, and that is it. The other 7 adults of varying ages, they've got a short sword from Dalefin, daggers, they've got a spear, one of them's a fishing spear, so they have things that they can stab with. The dwarfs, again, Balderbat enlightens you all throughout the hour that they can't cast daylight again.
Yeah.
And they're down to their, if they were that powerful, they wouldn't be sailors. So, yeah.
How old are the 2 eldest children look that are still about?
The 2 eldest, they're about 10, 11. So they've hit a decade, but they don't look much older.
Righty-ho. His 2 spare daggers are going to them then.
Oh, what could go wrong with a 10-year-old and a knife? So,
Ari
that sounds like a not Hessian.
Yeah.
I'll be over here. Cool.
He'd wielded bigger by then. Like.
There's a short passing of fisher folk watching this twin-bladed master pass out 2 very sharp objects to the 10 and 11-year-old. And
he kind of does the hold this side, like, but like in a
Pointy
very
end.
simple, pointy end away, like
they
keep it
almost
pointed down unless you.
They almost argue with you, but then the dawning of the situation upon them, they're like, it's like there's no choice. Like everyone, if anyone can stab, they've got to stab. There is nobody trying to collect Gion from you, Ari, because they were part of the 6 that got flown away.
They're dead.
So you have an orphan child with you as a familiar.
Like a Disney movie.
Yeah. So yes. So that is it. You're going
Ari
to prepare.
kind of
Go on.
like pats Gion on the head and is like, okay, so are you going to get behind me and stay behind me, or you want a dagger?
Can I do both?
Well, you might stab me in the leg if you stay behind me. So
I'd like a dagger. What's a dagger?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
At hearing that, I think the siblings will have intentionally put themselves on the opposite side of the circle. They're like, if we go around, they're like,
over there.
Replace Jesus Christ with the appropriate deity, fae. Can't remember their name right now. I'm real bad. I need it right down.
he kind of like drops down to his level and it's just like, right, stay behind me, don't go anywhere, I'll protect you, okay?
He nods.
And basically just puts him like, stands at the edge of the circle, essentially puts him behind him and is like, right,
come at me, bro. Come at me. Anybody else before we drop the seal of protection?
I'm getting some mad Bambi vibes here, guys. You're now Bambi's dad.
How did I get an orphan child? That's my
Because
question.
you're the bard. It's because you're the swashbuckling.
I was going to say, I'm not the bard.
No, you just got bard energy.
Have we got anything for anything else?
I'm gonna after you because it involves you. Carry on.
Ominous.
Griff looks a little bit uncertain, but he'll probably turn to one of the siblings, if not both of them, because they'll be together. And in, I believe it was Boulderback's voice, yep, he's going to motion to his sword and say, "Some light." Like, questioning head, "Some light?"
You get a similar kind of like frowning head tilt back from Kess. Like.
Looks at Drea.
Yes. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking, little one. We need to teach you more words.
Nods. He won't do it then. Too much risk.
Love it.
He'll nod and go back to wherever he was readying himself.
At which point in time, I will sidle up at the side of Griff, just sort of pat him on the shoulder and go, "Don't worry, we got this." And I'm going to stay next to Griff.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Sick of seeing Griff get
Getting
taken off.
carried
Yeah.
Again.
As
So-
protection, I'm staying here.
So, you've all positioned yourselves into what you believe the best place to be for when that daylight drops. You've all seen masses amount of them just hit the daylight and turn to ash. The storm is still going, there is still thunder and lightning going off. You know that dawn is not far away and it is still not getting much brighter. Again, there's almost a eternal, autumn day. Night sort of feeling goes on in Ravenholm. You, swords out, give each other the odd nod, the look. Xandria, throughout this hour, take a level of exhaustion off, but you still have one. Yeah? Oh yeah.
Still got disadvantage on my rolls 'cause I'm
So,
exhausted.
just to clarify, we're all kind of circled around the horses and the carts, and the remaining
The vulnerable situation.
three unarmed children are we up to? Because there
There
were
are-
6.
There are
The
4
two eldest
unarmed
then.
children. One of them is with Ari. The other 3
Yeah.
are with the horses and such. And there are 2 that have daggers. So you have 2 armed children, 4 unarmed children.
Okay, I thought there were 6 children.
There is 6. 4 of them are unarmed. 2 of them you have armed. That's 6.
Yeah, because
Six.
he didn't give Guillaume one in the end.
All right, yeah.
Oh,
so-
did they
yeah,
not give
yeah.
Gion one? Right, because
No.
that's what that's what was confusing me. I was like,
No, he
but if
decided to
Ari,
get stabbed in the legs.
so if Gion's got a knife and I gave 2 knives, and there's 6 kids, how have 4 on? And like I was having a proper Kess moment of like a
Ninja kids. So, for this scenario, you're all going to roll an attack roll. So all of your attack rolls, if you have ambi or if you can attack twice, etc. I'm going to take the average, and that will determine the result of this encounter.
oh Jesus.
And I'm at disadvantage.
Okay,
So, Kess, you obviously get 2 attacks.
that is 16. Oh, is it with my pluses?
Yeah, it's an attack. You're
Or is it
rolling
just
an
flat?
attack.
Cool. So that is a dirty 20 and a 23.
Boom. Ari.
A 14 and a 23.
Zandria.
With a disadvantage, that is a 15 and a 19 and a 11 and 4.
Are you still swinging your daggers?
Yep.
No. Dale Finn.
22.
Jesus, well your average is alright. Griff.
18.
Yay. Jesus.
Well, we're
Christ.
fine.
Yeah, you've saved the day. You're level 20. Tune in next week for campaign 5. So
Mint.
it's coming closer to the hour now. Boulderback and Bottlebelly make you aware that they know when their spell is fading and about to drop. You can see a very slither of the breaking dawn far behind. Every time the lightning goes off, you're in such a surreal. I might have to get somebody to paint this. You're in a bubble of daylight. There is a nighttime thunderstorm going on around you, and beyond the thunderstorm is the first glimpses of sunrise. Yep. Anyone watching who Lissy, I got a job for you.
To add to the ones you're already doing,
Yeah.
this is...
So yes, the daylight, instead of just dropping, starts to shrink and shrink. These creatures attack with ferocity, and then it blinks out. Both daylight spells, within a heartbeat of each other, just blink out, and they come at you all like it's like they've got nothing to lose. You see Kesfion go slashing in, spinning around, working in like a 5x5, 10x10 foot square, just blending through. Scimitars going round. It's absolute poetry to see. These creatures are just getting chopped out of the air. Ari has rapier and dagger in hand, thrusting forward with the rapier, doing a similar dexterous dance to Kesfion, but for the footwork, but the upper body are striking very differently with the dagger and the rapier. You then have Griff, who is essentially walking in straight lines into these things, just smashing them with his shield, cleaving through 3 at a time with his longsword. Daelfin, what are you swinging? Didn't you give your short swords away? And dagger?
I gave my short sword dagger away. I had a rapier still.
Ah, your rapier, yeah. Wow, yeah. Power gamers. So you you give the D6 away, keep the D8. I understand. So you you whip out you using your rapier, not as beautifully exotic to watch as Ari, but you are certainly skilled with the rapier, and you go out. You do not bad footwork, to be fair, for a spellcaster, and you fly around. Zandria is more grit and determination when she swings her daggers. When she's stabbing and slashing, it's like she's throwing haymakers with the daggers. There is a very heavy breathing about her as she's coming in. These creatures are absolutely swarming, and it's now like you're in the eye of the storm of these creatures. The fisher folk, only 2 of the adults die and get ripped apart, not carried off. These creatures just go through them. And of the children, none of them die. Mother kippers. I was ready for the... You don't care, but some people have got a heart. Jade, Zandria, whoever. So none of the kids die, 2 of the adults die. Boulderbelly takes a wound across her stomach, but does not get carried away. Boulderback is cut across his forehead and goes out conscious and is now in death saving throw situation. And about 30 seconds pass as the daylight spell drops, and you lot just wade into him. The 2 kids with the daggers are they're just swinging wildly. They catch a wing, they catch another. The ones they've caught, you've got the Kesfion and Griff and Ari just mincing around them all, blending through them, and then you see it in that 30 seconds. For a moment, you think you see Gandalf the White, and it's actually the sunrise. And you can see a single beam of light come over the horizon. It's still grey, but what you notice more so, Griff, the storm, just as quickly as it was pounding down on you, fooks off. Like the clouds, almost in like a fast forward motion, begin to part. The sky is not crystal clear blue because we're in Ravenholm, but the grey is softer and more powder grey, other than its dark, consuming grey. These creatures, they start to run away essentially, as if they were unaware that they were so close to the dawn. They are just buggering off into the. As they get higher, you can see them just puff into ash. As they get higher, that whatever daylight, sunlight in the horizon as the dawn comes is catching them, and a few of them bugger off, dive bomb into the trees further off into the forest. You keep swinging, you mulch whatever's left of them in front of you that aren't turned to ash. You are now left. You immediately start hearing birds twitter and tweet that would come with the morning. And yes, there is no sign of a threat around you at this current moment in time. All the creatures that you killed as the dawn slowly rises, they are, even if you go towards them, any light now that is daylight, not super bright daylight, just natural daylight, they are, the less they have on them, the slower they burn away into ash. And the more they have on them, the quicker they burn into ash. So, you are down to 5 adults, 6 kids, 3 dwarfs, sorry, and your lovely selves.
So Boulderback went into death saving throws. Did they fail them?
Nope, this is now immediately happened. So his first one wasn't that one. So he's... So what do? You all have an action. None of you have got your spells.
Go to try and stabilise naturally.
Cool.
Assist
medicine check with advantage.
Yes. Natural 20.
Boom. Boulderback is stabilised with 1 hit point and conscious. Just very, very groggy. Did we win?
Griff's going to put a hand on his shoulder and kind of nod. Big nod.
You see Bottle Belly eat the last of her good berries. And Fin Dwarf, with an F, is walking around the adults and the nippers and just kind of checking on them. They're kind of, even they're tapped now. You all slump. Go, you're free to...
Yeah, Caspion's going to go and check in on the 2 that he gave the daggers to.
You go over to them and they are covered in ash, where these creatures have exploded and then the ash has fallen onto them and it's just fading away off them. One of them has managed to cut the other one, but not bad, just like a little bit of a nick as they were just windmilling in. They kind of just stand there with these daggers in their hands, breathing, their adrenaline slowly coming down from the fight, not really aware of what's just happened. Like yesterday, they just, like, we've been taught how to fish. Today they've had gargantuan everythings and death ravens and a very,
I shouldn't laugh, that's wrong.
a strange warrior from the desert has given him a dagger and said, "Don't die." You know what I mean? So
he is going to gently take the daggers back off of the 2 children.
They're sort of not with it as they let go of the daggers. They're kind of not there, but they let go.
And he's going to say, "You did well," and then just kind of like awkwardly stare at them for a second, and then like head back over. He tried.
As you walk away, you see them start talking to each other, and they're, like I said, about 10 or 11, and the young lass is talking to the lad, and she seems to be calming him down, or at least putting a hand on his shoulder and stuff like this. And you walk away.
Yep.
Zandria will be doing a perimeter check. As soon as it looks like it's over, she's not convinced, she's instantly looking around to double, triple, quadruple check the area.
Give me a perception check. Oh, give me an investigation. Give me investigation, sorry. Investigation.
Why would you though? Why would you? That's an intelligence roll. I don't have intelligence.
I might have brought your character sheet up, right? Just
Nope. That is a 10.
Cool. So Zandria, as best she can, is pottering around slowly.
Slowly, trying not to fall over.
Yeah. Marking her territory with blood over every tree she walks past.
Hissing at anyone that comes too close.
And there is now just a trickle. The rain is very soft. It is a very nice morning. A very nice autumn morning. In very, very different contrast to what you've just experienced. And before we all decide to carry on the path, etc., I'm going to call it there. It's 10:30. We shall normally try and get to 11, but I know what's coming. So I will drop it there. So thank you to the players, for starters. You have now survived 2 days in Colossus.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed camping in Colossus. It's great. All Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boys Guides, etc. recommend it. And I hope you have fun. All the people watching later, thank you very much. Thank you for the follows that everyone jumped on. I hope you like the new the new sound effect. I worked all day on that. All day, I'm just saying, for you people. Thank you, Lissy, for keeping an eye on the stream for us. It's much appreciated. Thank you to our sponsors, Sawdust Swearwords, Ruffworx Creative. If you want to see our stuff and you want to follow what we're doing and listen to the ramblings of a large bald northerner and his friends, you can jump on all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. If you wish to support us, because, you know, why not? You can go to our Patreon page, Heavyweight Gaming, as you can see, and you can subscribe. We reward our subscribers with a 5th edition e-magazine called Arcane Script that is full of all Colossus's lore, classes. It's all homebrew, feats, spells, monsters. It's good. Oh, well, at least I think it's good. We're working really hard on it. We're pumping them out once a month, so the subscribers to the Patreon page get that every month. It is compatible with essentially Dungeons & Dragons 5th ed, so the open gaming license, OGL I think it's called. So yeah, so if you are interested, get on that. If you're not, thank you for watching anyway. Do I have anything else I should be saying? No, cool, I'll tell that as a, yeah. So, good night everybody, look after yourselves, hopefully the lockdown's not sending you too mad, and we should see you all in a week. You can say bye-bye now, players.
Bye-bye now, players.
Bye.